Ideas Inspire Information Podcast powered by Lok Enterprise. Here's your host, Braxton Holley.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Ideas Inspire Information. And today we have with us...
Hello, I'm Shekinah with Purpose, Joy, and I'm so happy to be here. What's up, guys?
Hey, Shekinah, how are you? Glad to have you.
I'm excellent. I'm excellent. Hello, hello.
So let's dive straight in. Purpose, Joy, what is it?
Literally diving straight on it.
Okay, Purpose Joy, the premise of it is basically if we can help you cultivate purpose, we can help you cultivate joy. In my own journey and the journey of people close to me, I've realized that there's a certain power that comes when you know what you're here for and can understand all the different parts of that. So we do that. We aid people in helping discover that through different self-care activities, groups, like our self-care Saturday lives we have once a month, self-care minute videos, things like that. All those things encompass what makes Purpose Joy. And so again, the goal is to help you to get to that place of purpose and understanding, so that you can live a full life. You know, purpose isn't a destination, it's a journey. So we're just kind of like providing resources to help you get there.
Oh, that's a quality answer.
Yeah, that's a quality. I mean, it doesn't sound rehearsed at all, but yes. Very quality. Yes.
Come on, quality.
I like that.
To even make this episode what it is, what idea inspired that information?
Okay, so bet. I was down and down. I'm just playing, but I'm serious. But I had some struggles of my own, like briefly do this or go through this process. I dropped out of college and stuff like that. I was out of school for like 2 years, and then in the in between time, I kind of like gave up on all things, and I kind of felt like I didn't really know what direction I was supposed to be in, and so as opposed to me being in a place of like quitting, I kind of dug deep, figured out what I could figure out about myself and about what my options were. I had people around me who were encouraging me to like do things like go back to school or like lean into my gifts and things like that. And so then after some good self-reflection and getting some inventory about myself and understanding, that I do have value, I do have something to add, there is more that I could be doing than what I'm doing right now. Purpose Joy and the stuff connected to Purpose Joy was formed. And so like it didn't get its name really until I want to say the end of 2019, but it had been like mustering and things like that ever since that time, ever since that year, 2014 when I went back to school, 2015 when I went back to school. So like it was growing and growing and growing, and then like I kind of came to myself, I was like, dang, we was here and now look at we're here. Look at that. And so that's kind of how that, yeah.
Nice.
What's up? I like that. We were having a conversation earlier about your what you were prideful in and what you're really proud of doing and stuff like that. And listening to you talk about that and what you've been through and everything, I kind of feel like that's your testimony for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you talked about kind of going through some things. What would you say is like the biggest obstacle that you had to go through in forming Purpose Joy?
Okay, there's phases of the obstacles, but the first obstacle was like... Period. Big dot. But the first part was understanding, like, again, that whole point of like getting to a place of understanding that you have one in the first place. You do have a purpose. There's something, and not only do I have a purpose, but then the second part was like understanding that this concept of that is not just something for me. Like this is something that can be spread around. Like these are ideas that can be applied in other people's lives and hopefully influence them to do well too. So that was like the second part. And then the third part was like actually having the courage or like the gusto by myself to open my mouth and say something. I think a lot of times doubt, fear, shame, all these other things, just not feeling like you're good enough to like express these thoughts keep you from pursuing certain things. And so getting over those three phases, like identifying what it was first, knowing that it was something that can be shared, and then giving the confidence enough to go ahead and go do it, is all those different obstacles are ones that I think develop Purpose Joy.
Okay. You said something that I've personally felt, doubt, fear, and all that stuff. It's crazy how the human psyche can be so hyped and like, I had this idea, I'm going to make it happen, I'm going to do this. And somebody says something or you see something and doubt and fear comes in and then it just never happens.
Tries to snatch the whole thing away. And not to get too preachy, but the idea is like, if I can help you to not believe in who you are, and I can help you to not believe in your potential. And I can if I can put those enough negative thoughts in your head, I can completely erase all the good that you're supposed to do. And I think sometimes that's the enemy's goal, to kind of get you to think that you are not, to think that you're not capable, think that you can't do these things. When in reality, you can. You're the best person for the job, and they know it. You see what I'm saying? So the thought is, let me fill your head with negative thoughts to erase that.
That could be like a huge analogy for America, but that's another conversation. That's another conversation.
Yeah, that's real. That's real completely. What's like as far as purpose, joy, and the whole like concept? What's your plan on like building the movement and the awareness for more people, not just in our community, but communities around the country and then soon around the world?
Okay, so boom. You ready? Because it's kind of heavy.
Got my attention.
All right. I want to make it to where, you know how when us football players, I'm like, DJ, you can relate to this, when a football player has an injury or something like that, and what they do.
Well, you had no injury though. You had no injury. Like
I mean, I'm just saying.
Y'all, Braxton was cold on the field. Make props now.
I remember this part of your story, but like, understand that whole point. You had an injury, and then after that, you immediately went to the doctor. And after that, you had all whatever needs happen. Your parents were all for it and things like that. You had support for it or whatever. The same thing that happens with you when you have a physical injury is what I want to happen for people when they have issues of mental health and mental health issues. I want it to be like you can feel just as comfortable telling your mom or your dad or whomever that, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. I need some help. We got to figure out how to fix this. And they put just as much energy, just as much effort into finding a solution to that problem. Yeah. And amongst the Black community, that's not a normal thing that happens. We don't even really open our mouths about things. We're too quick to call people crazy or they just tripping or whatever the case and dismiss them when these are things that need to be addressed. So my goal for Purpose Joy is to make it to where we introduce a conversation casually. Introduce a conversation to where no one has any apprehension about saying, okay, I may be depressed. I may be having these anxious feelings, or I don't like how overwhelmed I'm feeling right now. Introduce that conversation, have it, support be given, have community, whatever you need to give, and resources be available within your community to be able to fix that solution, whether you have amazing insurance or not. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's everything. Mm-hmm. Purpose Joy having programs, Purpose Joy having an after school academy for to educate parents and children on social emotional health. Purpose Joy continuing with these events, continuing with conversations like these to be able to be a hub really to help people get to where they need to be in the area of mental health. I'm tired of seeing people suffer silently. I'm tired of seeing people, unfortunately, suicide is like the second leading cause of death amongst people within our age group. That can't continue to happen because that's not just in one specific demographic. That's all of us. All of us are facing that reality.
That tells you that's like a societal thing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's not just one group. It's attacking all of us. So if that's the case, something needs to be done. And I think the first thing that needs to be done is having that conversation. So Purpose Joy's goal is to introduce those conversations.
With that, while you were saying that, I've watched a lot of your content and seen a lot of your message. What are y'all doing as far as the meetup since the pandemic's been here and, being gathered to have those conversations more on an intimate level? Are you using some type of connection to talk to people directly like Clubhouse is, or what are you doing as far as that goes?
Well, the biggest thing has been, and the easiest part has been just putting content out there in the first place. So, for instance, our self-care minutes, we put those out every Monday, right? Mm-hmm. Even if I am not directly having a conversation with a person at that moment, they're still receiving that content because of that reel or that post or whatever the case. You see what I'm saying? So that's the first thing, just using my social media platforms and using that as a way to kind of get things out there without me physically being there. The second thing is creating spaces for conversation through our lives, creating spaces for conversation through we're working on virtual self-care groups. I'm working on kind of as we move towards a more functioning version of this pandemic, what ideas and different programs we could put together to allow people to come together and have these conversations. But Clubhouse is an awesome idea. I haven't really had the patience or the energy to invest in it. I low-key, honestly, my second job, okay, I got 2 jobs within this year, since this year started, but the second one with this private practice, Yellowbird Counseling, I started at the end of this month, but I got connected with that young lady that's over that private practice on Clubhouse. And one conversation, yes, it was wild, but that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, so things like that I'm trying to utilize, definitely. And then again, conversations like these, opportunities like these, are what I've been on. It's been lit because there's been a lot of people kind of like, reaching out, being able to have conversations on their own platforms about the same thing. So having the opportunity to do stuff like this really is one of the other main ways.
Absolutely happy to have you.
Yes, I love it. It's great. It's been lit.
But yeah, I mean, I like what you're doing with the business, like really giving people a way to like helping people deal with their emotions, so to speak. Because I know as Army brats, Braxton, I'm not sure if you went through it as much as I did, or if I did as much as you did. Like my parents are out of town or deployed. I didn't know how to deal with that, so I may have lashed out in certain ways that weren't the most productive for me and my growth. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that's dope. Yeah, actually, we're probably gonna have a episode about that coming up when it comes to military brats.
Stay tuned to the Friday Fitness Fix. But I don't know if I had.
Come on, shameless plug.
I know, right?
I think for me that was more on a younger basis. I got in trouble a lot just stuff that really wasn't just that big of a deal. Yeah, just dumb shit, basically. And as I grew, I mean, that kind of subsided. You learn. I never do the same thing twice, or at least get in trouble the same time twice. But yeah, I have really enjoyed this Purpose Joy journey and like watching you because I think I don't think I've seen it since the beginning, but knowing you and then seeing it more and more often kind of got me more intrigued. And originally at first, like my first glance, I felt like it was more so directed toward women, but as I continued to watch, I learned that it was more directed at the culture and as a whole.
I had that same vibe too, but once you dig in, you kind of realize it's not that.
Yeah. How did you and what's her name? Alison like make that decision to work together to work on Purpose Joy?
Okay, so boom. What happened was, and so boom is my thing. I'm sorry, it's like a thing. I don't mean to.
I think I like it. I
don't mean to do it, but it just happens so often. I be doing it with my kids too. I'll be like, okay, y'all, so boom, and then. But anyway,
that's fun.
But what happened was, at the time I was in a relationship with this guy and he lived in New York. And so I wanted to have a like Valentine's Day thing, but not about a dude or whatever. So I basically, gathered some of my friends together at my house and I wanted to have like a self-care day. And so that's the first time we ever had it. It was on a Valentine's Day weekend and it was really cute. And she was one of the people that came. And so then, she kind of just expressed, her interest, and we kind of like talked about how, how it was good and how she felt afterwards or whatever the case. And I was like, okay, well, shoot, we could do it again. You want to do it again? And so then we had another one at my house, and that one was real intimate. And I can't wait to get to that point where we can start having those real intimate group settings again. But it was really intimate. It was maybe like we had like 20 tickets, about 15 people showed up. It was in the living room of my mom's house. And we just had a really good time. We did some self-reflection activities. We did like a group therapy activity. It was awesome. And so from then on, we kind of just been hooked up as far as like the Self-Care Saturday thing. Yeah. Now, when it comes to like the growth and how Purpose Joy itself has grown, I just didn't realize how one part of my purpose and Self-Care Saturdays were so closely connected, but they ended up being that way. And so then we just been trying to develop it since then. This point that you guys made about when you first see it and you notice that it seemed like it was really for women, but you notice that it's for the culture in general. I'm really trying to push towards improving that and improving that openness. We did like a segment called King's Care, and I'm hopefully next time you guys do it, I definitely would love to have you guys on as well. But I'm trying to help people understand that it is not gender specific. It doesn't matter what your background is. Mental health is for everyone, and so like trying to continue to build on that is another thing. That's why, like, although she's the one that I do my self-care Saturdays with, I try to constantly bring in more people, bring in different perspectives, have different people to have these conversations with, because it's important.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
I definitely agree.
Sure.
So you got like two different things. I see your what's it called, self-care minute, or
Yeah.
that is that correlated directly with self-care Saturday?
Okay.
Is that more on the purpose joy side?
That's really just Purpose Joy. It's like Purpose Joy is the umbrella,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then Self-Care Minutes, Self-Care Saturdays. We have another sub-series called Postscript. The events that we do, all that stuff is underneath that umbrella. But they're like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the thing with Self-Care Minutes legit started from, when I first started Purpose Joy, it was quotes, just a series of quotes. And so from that series of quotes, I started doing the little self-care minute videos, which is literally just the quotes that I expound on or whatever the case, and that's what they turned into. So, yeah. They're all underneath the same.
Definitely.
What did you say? Something script?
Postscript.
What is that?
Okay, so Postscript is this thing. Okay, I had a group of students in my class last year.
Mm-hmm.
And right before the pandemic, they came to me. They were juniors. And they were like, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. I'm not prepared to graduate. I don't know about any of this stuff. And it's really the stuff that we all know that we don't know about, but we know we need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Like taxes, credit, what to do if I want to build a business, how to make a budget, all these things. So I told them, I made them a promise. I said, okay, before you graduate, you're going to have all this information that's on me and my big toe. I got you. I will make sure this happens. And so then the pandemic hit, and even though I had planned to have these conversations in class,
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that. The pandemic's here, and I didn't even get a chance to say goodbye to them or anything like that. You know, that whole class like got shut down. So that's how Postscript ended up being born. I was like, I need to go find some people to talk to them about this information, and that's how we've done it. We have an episode on financial literacy. We have an episode on confidence and goal setting.
Mm-hmm.
I plan on doing a couple more episodes on stress management, how to start their own business, and other like topics that they asked about. But that's what that is.
Okay.
Postscript.
Okay.
So let's go a little bit deeper into like self-care Saturday.
Okay.
What's like the roadmap for that, and what happens on that? Like, take us through a self-care Saturday.
Okay, boom, this is what happens. I have self-care Saturdays mapped out for like the rest of the year, right?
Perfect.
And how it works is as topics come, I develop the topic. We come together, we talk about like, you know, what do you want to touch on, like things like that, get each other's opinions about things. It's a three-part of it. So there's myself, Alison, and then there's Tony. Tony is the you of Purpose Joy, if that makes sense. He is the editor. Any of my photos, videos, anything like that, including as far as like ideas for content and stuff like that. We go back and forth about that. Like, he is a really, really integral part of that process. So in general, we come together, we think about the topics, we think about how we want to do it, and then literally we have our points, but all that stuff on the conversation on the self-care Saturdays off the cups. Like, it's like, it's not rehearsed, to make sure that it's authentic, and then the authenticity brings like real good conversation, real good, you know, energy and things like that. Alison we've always had the same vibe. I've known her since like 2000, I want to say 9 or 10 or something like that. And maybe even a little earlier, but either case, I've known her for years, and our energy has always been like it mirrors each other. Like, we always go back and forth. We always have a good vibe. So that's what shows on that segment.
Nice. Do you think sometime this year y'all could get back to a group setting, possibly?
I hope so. We were able to pull off an event end of 2020, and it was cool. It was about 40 people. We were able to social distance and things like that. It was called the Reset Mixer. It worked out really well. Of course, there's little things that we want to, like, you know, tweak to do better for the next time, but that turned out really well. So I'm hoping that, especially with conversations around the vaccine and people being more knowledgeable about how to have safe events, we may be able to pull something off. I'm hoping to do at least 2 this year. At least 2.
Yeah.
Then we do have an event coming up on March 21st. It's a partnership with OHO Social Club, and it's basically called Sip, Paint, and Self-Care. We'll be doing this thing called the Rose Bush Activity, which is a self-reflection activity, and it's an art kit provided by her, and it'll be at a Bazaar Coffee Bar, a Black-owned coffee bar downtown. It's really lit. Guy's cool. But yeah, either case, so that's going to be on the 21st. That's like one thing that we're doing, but I have like several things I'm trying to manifest this year before 2021 is out. But yeah,
luckily we got a little more time this year.
So
this year doesn't seem like it's moving as fast as last year.
Oh no, this one feels like it's flying. I feel like I just said Happy New Year.
Yeah, like yesterday, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know what's going on, but it feels like this.
It's moving.
Moving in a good direction. I feel good about it.
That's good. It's way better than last year was so far.
Yeah.
Don't jinx it now.
Get your vaccines. Get your vaccine.
Literally, this dude was talking to me about people growing a 5th toe about a vaccine. Don't listen to
20 years from now,
he ain't gonna get no vaccine.
Y'all gonna have like a 5th toe. Talking about why everybody growing an extra toe. It was that vaccine y'all had.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories around the vaccine though, but I personally, I was just like, why not? Especially since, I had the first shot. I still have to get the second one.
Nah, just
I ain't gonna lie, because you're kind of afraid. I don't know. There's like a healthy fear about things like that. If you think about stuff like the Tuskegee experiment and things like I should be afraid.
That would be the whole world.
You see what I'm saying?
Giving everybody these shots.
Would it? Because they're still. Would it if they decided that they wanted to do that and they wanted to only target a certain demographic, that could be done. And no one would know. Everybody would think it's the exact same, but it's not. You see what I'm saying? Like, that could happen. Yeah. But my other thought about it is that all things are working for my good, and there's no reason.
There's a book that says no weapon formed against me.
There you go.
Shall prosper.
So
That's it.
I ain't gonna let them put that weapon on me.
That's it.
I'm gonna let them keep that weapon for themselves.
Yeah.
But either case,
they got nothing to do with me.
It is what it is, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Yeah, so I'm chilling until then. I'm just gonna keep doing my thing. You see what I'm saying? Let that be it.
So, let's get back to the Purpose Joy. How can people find this community, be a part of this community, and stay up to date?
I'm interested in getting one of those self-care joints hopping on too. So how we sign up for that also? My bad, I ain't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Okay, so boom. All right, so you can follow us on purposejoy.org. Okay, that's our website. And website has updated information about events. What I do? Huh? What?
I like the point.
I know what that means.
Okay. Cool. I was like, okay. I'll go back again. I'll try again. I didn't mean to mess up. My bad. Okay. You can visit our website, purposejoy.org. On there, you can find all types of information about. You can schedule a session with me. You can see our YouTube channel, Instagram, all those things. You can also visit our YouTube channel, subscribe on Purpose Joy. It's Purpose Joy, and then Instagram. You can follow us on there. That's Purpose Joy, and then you can also all my contact information and things like that are on those platforms as well. If you would like to, schedule one-on-one or a consultation or anything like that. I also, again, I'm the new contract therapist with Yellowbird Counseling. So if you do want to schedule a therapy session, you can go through Yellowbird Counseling and schedule sessions that way. And it's not just me on there. There's a team of amazing women that are that work with that firm, and I'm honored to be a part of them. So that's another way. If you're interested in therapy, you can go through Yellowbird Counseling.
Every one of those links will be in the description
somewhere.
Yeah, just read them and click.
It's the hands for me. Like somewhere.
I like to make Braxton do extra work.
Just gonna cut that part. DJ.
I don't really have much more on Purpose Joy. I think we kind of covered it, and I'm kind of drawing blanks right now anyway. But what I want to know is, we got you on our stuff and everything. When are we going to get the invite?
Okay, I just told you. What I don't. Maybe it slipped your brain, but I talked about King Care. That's in June. We do King's Care in June. And we do King's Care in June. That's when we really want to understand what self-care looks like from a male perspective, and that conversation and what we can do as not just women but Black women, aiding our black young kings in order to help them develop into who they need to be. And that does transcend all ethnic groups and things like that, but specifically you know, specifically this is for y'all, so that we can make sure that we are building and growing together in a positive way. Yeah.
Shekinah, I honestly believe that you have crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's. Do you feel like you left any
you know, I don't think so. I think we covered it. I think we're good.
I trust it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Purpose Joy. Make sure you follow, subscribe, click the links, follow the journey, get yourself enrolled, and really understand that the things that are going on in your mind can be talked about, not only to yourself, because a lot of people keep that stuff in, but in your community as well. Shekinah, thank you for being here with us today, here on Ideas Inspire Information. DJ, you got anything else?
I mean, y'all know I'm about fitness. Fitness health is, you know.
We are about the health now.
Very good, but if your brain and your mind not right, your body won't be either. So just, you know.
The mind,
take
the
that
body,
for what it is.
The soul.
Period. Very good. Mind, body. You know, another thing, there you go. Another thing too, like I would love, we should, I don't know if you want to put this, we can talk about this another time, but we have this thing called Whole Fit. It's in July. And the Whole Fit conversation, like last year we did, we had a Zumba session and things like that. And we want to just do like a bigger version of it this year. But we'll talk and stuff. But that'd be cool to have you come in, like do like you could do like a segment or whatever the case. And she could still do her thing and maybe somebody else. I don't know. But I want to make it like a thing.
I'm all about making people sweat.
And that's how you put stuff together on the spot.
With the hands. So you know it's real.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Bye.